My name's Megan McLaughlin, and I'm the medicine development leader for linerixibat at GSK. I've had a long career of drug development at GSK, first in genetics research, then in clinical research, and now in development leadership. So PBC is a rare autoimmune disease where the body attacks the bile ducts of the liver. The two major symptoms of PBC are itch and fatigue. And when we talk about itch in PBC, it's not just a little bug bite and scratching. It is an itch under the skin. Patients describe it as bugs crawling. And so here at the liver meeting, very proud to hear a patient on the podium say that there seems to be a better understanding of itch in PBC. Researchers at GSK have worked with experts and patient cohorts around the world to better understand the impact of itch in PBC. And this has shown that itch on average remains constant over 6 years of follow-up. It significantly impacts sleep and quality of life. In our large phase 2b study, we were able to use a tool that looks at quality of life and is used across different diseases. Since a lot of people are not aware of what PBC is or the impact the pruritus or the itch can have on quality of life, we use this tool to compare itch in PBC to other diseases. And so when patients have severe itch in PBC, they have a worse quality of life than patients with COPD or end-stage renal disease, and shockingly have a quality of life similar to patients with advanced Parkinson's disease. That was a surprise to even researchers who have treated these patients for their entire career. Yeah, so patients are currently managed with a drug that's really greatly improved life expectancy in PBC. So this is a chronic condition that can lead to liver failure, but patients now are living near normal life expectancies, and that's because of a drug called UDCA. And so nearly all patients with PBC are prescribed UDCA, and nearly all patients in our phase 3 Glisten study were receiving UDCA. There are some second-line therapies for PBC in patients that don't have their liver function controlled on UDCA, and one of those that has been on the market actually has a warning around itch. And so we did exclude that from our phase 3 study just because it would confound our ability to look at the ability of linerixibat to improve itch in PBC patients. But there are some other second-line therapies in the treatment guidelines that were allowed if stable in the trial. Now that's just treating the underlying disease. So in PBC, there are some guidelines suggested therapies for pruritus or itch, and most of those have very little evidence behind them and like some short, small studies. And so linerixibat really does have the potential to be the first global therapy to treat pruritus in PBC. The Glisten study is a global phase 3 study, and it's evaluating linerixibat, which is an investigational targeted inhibitor of the ileal bile acid transporter, which is a mouthful, but that is abbreviated as an IBAT inhibitor, and it enrolled patients with this cholestatic pruritus, which is relentless itch, and proven PBC. the rare autoimmune liver disease. So first, the baseline information that was shown at the liver meeting was helpful to show the unmet need of itch in PBC. And some interesting things to point out there are these data confirm that itch can occur at any stage of PBC. You might think if you have more severe disease, you would have more severe itch. That's not necessarily the case. You can have very well-controlled disease, but yet severe itch. And so our study looked at patients with moderate to severe itch. And another poster that we had at the liver meeting showed that this itch correlates well to what researchers have called clinically significant itch using another tool. And so that helps us bridge the population. In this study, patients were receiving therapies for guideline suggested therapies for itch. One of the first line therapies pretty much in global treatment guidelines actually had low usage in the study. So that was a bit of a surprise for the study. So this is, the trial was called Glisten, and it looked at itch over a 24-week treatment period. And the news today is that Glisten met its primary endpoint, with linerixibat resulting in an improvement in itch, and that was through a statistically significant reduction from baseline in a monthly itch score over 24 weeks of the trial. So we did announce that primary endpoint was positive. The trial remains ongoing for some patients in experimental Part B of the study. And preliminary safety results are generally consistent with what we've seen for linerixibat in prior studies. So we had 2 phase 2 studies that have been published previously that demonstrated improvements in itch for linerixibat. So our hope is that this could relieve the suffering of PBC patients who have this debilitating symptom of itch, and could potentially be a global therapy and the first global therapy to treat itch in PBC. We're here at the liver meeting, which is AASLD's annual meeting of research. And it's been wonderful here to actually be with a large group of people from GSK, because we have researchers focusing in multiple areas of liver disease, because it is such a high unmet need. So we have researchers here focusing on hepatitis B, as well as steatotic liver disease,